Hello everyone, Pete and Grada here. Good to see you on Thursday night. We've made it through another week.
Hello everyone.
And we were choosing an appropriate subject tonight, and it's how you can feel good and centered and not stressed during chaotic times. Like at the moment, there is a lot of chaos around us, and structures are crumbling and people are fighting and so on. And there is a lot of insecurity as well. And the best way to look after your nervous system is to top up with magnesium. I found that out many years ago the hard way, in 2008, when I had a... Oh, Pete, I'll just say it very quickly.
No,
When I had
you've gone off my subject somewhere.
we've got Peter's subject here, and I'll attach it onto the little post. But in 2008, I spent a couple of months in a psychiatric hospital with a broken mind. So my mind was just completely not functioning the way I wanted it to, and I was burning up with anxiety and depression. And while I was in the hospital, I got taken good care of, like I was allowed to rest and all that. And I was asking the psychiatrist, what about magnesium? Like, does magnesium deficiency have anything to do with it? And at that time, that was scoffed at. But thankfully, things have changed. It's now 12 years later. And a lot of doctors and nurses and, of course, wellness practitioners and health coaches all know how important it is to have magnesium and to take magnesium supplements. So I know Peter is itching to go on.
Well, there's no magnesium in the soils.
In Australia.
So we don't get it in the foods we eat.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and magnesium is the most important key mineral that your body needs to keep your nervous system relaxed during stressful times, and also relaxed when you're able to have restful periods, because that's the other thing. Sometimes when we have the opportunity to rest and relax, or you go on holidays, our nervous system has forgotten how to do that. And magnesium is absolute key mineral that will accelerate or activate your resting programming in your body, so you feel really calm and peaceful.
Drops you out of flight and fright.
Yeah, so today I had a client who had been to an alternative GP, and my client already supplements with magnesium, and she has a good diet. She's been supplementing for years already, and the alternative GP actually discovered that her blood overall was pretty good, even though she suffers from depression still, and she still had magnesium deficiency, so she still wasn't getting enough. That's with good diet and with supplementing. I think she might take 4 a day, 4 tablets, so this is what we recommend. So, and we can also say the opposite. So I'll just say my little spiel and then I'll let Peter do his. Women, after they've had babies, the magnesium is stored up in the placenta, and of course the baby comes out nice and healthy usually, because the mother will put her own physical needs last. That's what our bodies do. And then the magnesium is taken away because the placenta is destroyed. So most of my clients, pretty much 99.9% of my clients don't get postnatal depression, even if they've had that previously, because I get them to start supplementing with magnesium really early on in the piece, and it's good for the baby too. They have a nice, quiet, resilient child. And I almost dare to say, but this is just my humble opinion, that if the woman or any person has enough magnesium in their cells, they won't get depression or anxiety. And the trouble starts when we run out of magnesium in our cells, and I mean in every cell of our body. And then that continues on, and suddenly things start breaking down. And then what happens is we might take 1 or 2 magnesium a day and think that'll that should work. But actually, once you get to that point, you might need to take up to 10 or 16 magnesium tablets a day. Hey, Pete, you can continue with that story about that person from Melbourne?
Well, Greta got
Yeah, just tell, or I
off,
can
off
tell it.
my
then.
track a bit, but I was looking into pain because magnesium is also an essential element we're missing if we get a lot of pain, particularly aches and pains in joints and muscles. There's too much calcium floating around our system and not enough magnesium. And it's calcification caused by too much calcium, and the magnesium, if we up the magnesium, the calcium gets pushed back into our bones and won't cause calcification. So keeps us comfortable, reduces risks of aches and pains, arthritis. And I looked up how many people take painkillers
In Australia.
and it's
Staggering.
over 60% of the population above 14 buy painkillers, particularly Panadol, every month.
Which is absolutely astounding.
And it would be preventable. A lot of the pain would be preventable if you take magnesium.
And drink water.
And lack of magnesium causes, muscle spasm, cramps. And we had a woman who was suffering with muscle spasms all down the left side of her body, cramping, and she'd been to the doctor with it, and the doctor had recommended she take magnesium, which she was taking. She'd been taking it for a few months with no results. Anyway, someone asked us what type of magnesium should I take, so it prompted me to do a bit of research, and Sandra Cabot's formulation has 2 of the smallest possible particles of magnesium, so it's the easiest to get into cells, most easily absorbable and readily available forms of magnesium. Magnesium has to be compounded, has to be joined with something to take it around the body. So in Sandra Cabot's formulation, there are those 2
Orotate.
smallest possible ones to get into cells and be absorbed easily. This woman she went out and bought some, started taking Sandra Cabot's formulation of magnesium, the complete magnesium complete, the great relaxer, and within 3 days, taking that, muscle spasms and cramps had gone away. So, and she also suffered with quite bad constipation, and we say to people, just up your magnesium until your bowels become loose, because that's all an overdose of magnesium will do. Orally is you start trotting off to the toilet too much. So she got up to 16 tablets a day when her bowels worked nicely, and then she started just gradually decreasing it, and she takes 6 tablets a day now to keep her bowels nice and regular, and she's free of those muscle spasms. And it's vital that we supplement with magnesium.
Because every cell of your body needs magnesium to make energy too. So it's not, and so pain is a really important subject that Peter is addressing. But a lot of people suffer from lethargic, lethargy, chronic
lack of
tiredness,
energy,
exhaustion, and so on, can't get off the couch, or your energy drops into your boots. And another reason for that is again the absence of magnesium inside the cells, because you need to think of magnesium, they stoke the little furnace, so that you get a nice little fire burning inside the cells, and so you can jump out of bed and have a great day, all day, every day, with consistent energy when your magnesium levels are up on top.
And I know we've mentioned this before, but 1 molecule of sugar displaces 50 molecules of magnesium. So our diet, the food industry and our diet has got a lot to answer for as well, but in food that's grown with superphosphate, there's no magnesium in it. even if there is magnesium in the soil, but because the super binds up the magnesium so the plants can't get it. But in Australian soils, it lacks most minerals, but particularly magnesium, and it's...
And another trace mineral that we're not allowed to mention.
Well, we are allowed to mention because it's one of the minerals that is depleted in particularly Tasmanian soils.
So you mean iodine then?
Yeah, iodine, because it's in the Tasmanian government health website that everyone should supplement with iodine.
Yeah, you can look it up. Just look up the government's own website, and you'll find that it says Tasmanians are at the risk of iodine deficiency, even though we're not allowed to tell you that anymore. So but I'm just quoting.
We recommend people have a quarter teaspoon of pure salt. We recommend Himalayan salt because it hasn't got the pollutants that today's sea has got in. But pure salt has about 84 different minerals and trace minerals in, which we don't get in our food these days.
And if you think about it logically, what happens if you're really, really crook? You go to the hospital, go to the emergency ward, and they'll hook you up to what we call a saline drip. So that's a bag of salt water, basically, and it goes straight into your veins, into your body, and after an hour or so, you start to feel a lot better because your body is getting remineralized. And rehydrated. So water is also really important. Did you mention that already?
Yeah, well, I have in the
because I wasn't listening, sorry.
But a litre of water for every 30 kilograms of body weight and a quarter teaspoon of pure salt for every litre of water you drink. Those two things will make an amazing difference to your energy levels. I've had a couple of blokes who came to me and that's all they did. I recommended a heap of other things, but that's all they did. They drank their water and had their salt. And the fellas at their work asked them, what were they on? They thought they were taking speed or something. Their energy, they had noticed the difference in their energy levels. And they came back to me and said they feel a lot more energetic. And yeah, initially they asked me, well, how do you know what are the symptoms of being dehydrated? I said, well, what do you like?
Yeah, well, if you look at a plant, just put your logical brain on, and you look at a house plant or a plant in a garden that's been dry for too long, everything just shuts down and seals over and closes shut.
And wrinkles up.
And that's right. So inside our body, the same thing happens. And apparently when we're born, we're 90% water. When we die, most people are 60% water. And actually, so the real reason that we die often is dehydration. It's just a very gradual, slow dehydration. And we've probably then been dehydrated for maybe the last 50 years of our life. I remember, sorry. Yeah. Peter and I, a long time ago when our kids were little and we actually didn't know that we had to drink lots more water. I remember I often used to get headaches, and then when I was lying down in bed at night, I could feel my heart like beat really loud in my chest or pound in my brain. And at the time I didn't realize, but it's just all a sign of dehydration. And sometimes my clients will ask me, why does that happen? Like, I get scared that I'm going to have a heart attack or an aneurysm or something. But it's just simply because your blood is too thick. It's not watery enough. And you just need to get up straight away, get up out of bed, have 3 glasses of water, or even have a jug of water next to your bed. And it doesn't matter if you have to go to the toilet at night, because what's more important, that you prolong your body, your good life, or that you have to, get out of bed to go to the toilet. So today I also had a client who takes, I think she said 8 capsules a day, and she was still getting cramps at night. And so I think the cause for her was also dehydration, because she's a busy mom with little kids, and moms tend to put themselves last. So that's what I said to her. Just put some salt next to your bed for the cramps. As soon as you have a cramp, you put some salt on your tongue, let that soak in, and follow that by 1 or 2 glasses of water, because water is what pushes the magnesium into the cells so it can do its work. So did you want to say something else?
Well, I was just amazed at how many people must have pain.
Yeah.
And I, for one, don't like to have pain. And I don't reckon you would.
No.
If we could be without pain, we'd choose to be without pain, I'm sure. And a lot of Panadol is taken for tension headaches, and tension headaches are due to muscles being too tight up the back of the neck, impinging on the nerves to the skull and scalp. And what relaxes muscles?
I don't know.
Yeah,
You just said it.
Magnesium.
Yeah.
So it's, please, especially now the warmer weather's coming on, hydrate with plenty of salt and take your magnesium to avoid episodes of pain where you grab for the Panadol, because Panadol isn't so good for your liver.
No.
Too much of it can cause liver damage. So if you want to protect your liver, keep hydrated, have your minerals and trace minerals, have your magnesium.
So Peter, you're leaving me speechless.
There are a few other things that I did mention in the write-up to help get rid of some other type of inflammation where fibrous tissue is built up. Systemic enzymes that help break that down. And one we have is called Inflanorm and the other Vascuzyme. But when I wrote about it, I looked on our shelves and we didn't have a lot, but hopefully they'll be in the next order in a week or two coming.
Yeah. Because stiffness in your body, like if you get up and you realize, oh, I'm not moving so freely anymore, that's due to a fibrinogen in your body. And fibrinogen is just like looks like spider webs under a microscope that just kind of permeates all your fibrous tissue, your soft tissue.
Well, that's what they made.
That's right.
They cause fibrous tissue. Yeah.
And you need to make sure that it doesn't progress, and in fact you don't so you just need to take extra enzymes, because after we turn 40 our enzyme production drops off dramatically, and that's Mother Nature's way to actually make room for the next generation. So like we become earthbound, literally, we end up in the grave, right, to make room for the next generation. But the next generation needs us, and we don't need to do that to ourselves. We can get rid of aches and pains, like I said, by drinking more water, have your minerals, have your magnesium, have your enzymes. And so I just wanted to finish with other kind of cramps, like women can have endometriosis and cramps, monthly pain cramps that are unbearable, and they totally benefit from magnesium too. So then you're addressing the root cause, you're not just putting a band-aid over it. And
minerals and trace minerals, because
right.
it's hormonal control.
Any kind of cramps like belly aches, chronic belly aches, it's a great relaxer. It helps for sleep. It tells you actually on here. So headaches, releases symptoms of headaches, stress, reduces sleeplessness, relieves muscle cramps, and it's even good for things like epilepsy and just anything where your muscles just don't obey you. They don't know how to relax anymore. Oh yeah, and then zinc. So magnesium and zinc often go together. So zinc is another really good mineral. So we're talking about minerals, right? That we don't get enough of. And zinc is really good to keep your immune system healthy, good for your skin, helps if you have warts. That's always a zinc deficiency. And if you start to talk double Dutch, like I tend to do, so let's say if your brain doesn't obey your instructions, or you're starting to feel a bit like your words fumble, or you read a book and it's not making sense. So in other words, we call it, if your brain is scrambled, just immediately take a couple of zincs and your brain will be as good as gold. And back in the days when we still had our clinic and had a receptionist, we always had some zinc for her or for whoever was on the desk. and that person would often take like 2 or 3 during the day just to keep on top of the phone calls. And when you're a multitasker, you definitely need zinc as well. And this is a really good one. Yes, sorry, Pete. I'll move out of the way.
So zinc, yep.
But there's zinc and zinc. There's lots of rubbishy zinc.
Yeah, zinc picolinate.
And there's also lots of rubbishy magnesium. So don't waste money on just fillers.
I was just going to mention Grada's father. He injured both his knees while he was still working, and he did have trouble with his knees in his older age, but he kept mobile by taking Percy's powder, which is a set of sulfate minerals. It's got about 8 different sulfate minerals in it, and he took one of those every day and kept his knees quite mobile.
And his shoulders, or it might have been my stepmom, she had shoulder issues or something, and it just came right. Percy's powder is really, really popular. That's kind of like a whole body tonic, but I guess magnesium is too, right?
And blood tonic.
And
as
this
well.
comes in a little bag, a sachet that you just drink every day, and it keeps you in tip-top shape.
Mix it with some lemon juice and water.
And it's got iron in it. It says it's a blood tonic, so iron and zinc, and it's all in the right kind of...
Selenium as well, which we're deficient in here. Yep.
And potassium. If you have problems on the right side of your body, always, like the right side is giving you trouble, that means you're low in potassium. So I just want you to remember that, and you need to boost your potassium. So that's why Percy comes in handy to it. All right, so I hope you enjoy this. Our mumblings about minerals, but it's absolutely key. Everyone should know it. So if you know of people...
And if you have lots of pain and want to get rid of it, I've got plenty of other secrets up my sleeve to tell you how you can live a life without pain.
Well, actually you teach people, and then you do corrections too. And that's right. And Peter does lots of tests.
Dietary and lifestyle changes, and you can have a life without pain. That's what we're meant to have. We're not meant to. We're meant to live in ease and comfort, really.
I don't take any painkillers.
So
you're meant to say something now. I bet Peter doesn't like blowing my trumpet. I'll be like Trump. I'll just. So I just want to encourage you and inspire you, right? Inspire you by just sharing my little story again. That I was hit by a truck in 2006, and I was left with like catastrophic injuries and broken spine and bone and smashed pelvis, and it was really, really bad.
One person who came to visit Grada in hospital said she had a friend who had a similar accident, and she lingered and died. Which wasn't very encouraging.
Well, I knew I was lingering, but
but you see Grada now, and she doesn't need painkillers, and she is very flexible, and she helps me shift furniture around the house and all sorts of things. And she is a testament of what your body can do given the right things.
And I didn't even have a proper recovery program or a rehabilitation program. I just trusted in my body. So like one day I was still lying on the hospital bed, and then 12 weeks after the accident the doctors told me I could start doing some weight bearing and taking some steps, and that was it. That was my rehabilitation program. So after that I just got up.
6 kids and a husband kept her busy enough to rehabilitate her well.
And I just started to do more and more work around the place because I'm a cleaning freak, so I couldn't just lie around and say with dirty windows or scraps in the fridge and all that sort of stuff. So I just started cleaning the house, and then I went back to work. And
But
what?
You do take daily magnesium.
I take enormous amount of magnesium,
with salt and a few other bits and pieces that we...
Beet flow enzymes. I take iodine, I take massive amount of magnesium, absolute staggering amounts, because I feel that once you've been really badly traumatized, like I did, like my body did, I should say, I'm always going to need huge amounts of magnesium just to keep my body functioning the way I do. And I really actually flog it because I work, well, I work consistently, and I'm always researching. And so I guess it's also important that you do what you love, right? That you find your groove. That's important, that you find your groove in life where you feel good. And then you support yourself with all the right minerals and so on. But what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Like, if you don't have enough minerals in your body, you're actually not ever going to find your groove. You're just always going to be floundering. So you have to create a little bit of a breakthrough somewhere, don't you?
And I doubt whether Greta would have made the recovery she did make if she had been binging out on fast foods and not looking after herself beforehand. Yeah. So
well, lucky for me, I've always been interested in healthy eating. It's been my passion. I enjoy cooking, and also lucky for me, I'm not a sweet tooth. But I grew up with a mum who was an incredible sweet tooth. And she always had a lot of pain. So my mom was my best teacher because she had so much pain in her body and she was crippled. And that really affected me from baby onwards, really, because I remember wanting to help her from as young as age 2 or something. And that always gave me a sense of kind of hopelessness. So my mom never really got out of the rut of ill health. But I won't blame her for it or anything. That's beside the point. But the fact is, she just loved sugar and white bread, and that was pretty much. Her favorite foods, and even on a deathbed when she was 74 and she died of cancer, but she had like rheumatoid arthritis for 30 years. She was eating pavlova. That was her last taste in her mortal life. So, and we just let her do it, of course. So that was kind of fighting a losing battle. If you love yourself more, so I guess my mom didn't have good self-esteem, and she didn't have good self-worth, and she didn't value herself. So she just didn't adjust her diet appropriately. So yeah, if you have issues like that you just feel blocked about yourself, please come and see me, because I can remove all your blocks that are stopping you from valuing yourself, or any of the blockages that stops you from getting a bit of a breakthrough so you can find your ideal life. Anyway, we'll leave it with that, and hope you really enjoy this. And we're open. Our trading days are Wednesdays and Thursdays, and during the week you can send Peter a message and we can pass all things up for you. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, Peter is also available. Like, if you come and collect your goods, Peter can chat to you, or you can ring him on the phone and he will help you out too. Okay. Anything else?
Oh, I think you've covered it well.
Okay, thank you everyone. Okay. Big love from Peter, me. Stay safe.
Have a good week.
Stay sane, and see you next week.
Enjoy the nice sunny weather.
Yep. Bye-bye everyone.
Bye.